Hi guys, Dina Khatib interior designer. I am still at Scott and Jennifer McGuinn in Arlington. And I designed the 4 bedrooms in their house. I talked to you about the living room and I want to talk to you about the den. So this is the den looked before. It used to be very dated. There is a built-in, as you see here, built-in shelving, very old built-in shelving. We have to realize that this is a colonial house. This is a very old colonial house. There's a lot of features in colonial houses, like old built-ins, old closets, something intricate in old architecture of these houses still there, and this is one of them. So there is an old colonial built-in existing, very dark maroon paint, very dark maroon paint. She used to have like a plant here, a sofa here, and a coffee table. So the and very old light. I don't like the light at all. You see how old is the light? Very old light. So this is how the den looked before, and this is how the den looked now. So it looks a little bit more on the contemporary side. So what I did here is I wanted to bring the living room colors into the den. Why? Because they're open to each other. Do you remember this blue that was in the living room? The ocean air, Benjamin Moore, around the fireplace. This ocean air paint, I introduced it here on the walls. As you see, there is ocean air paint. I painted the built-in, used to be white. I painted the built-in. I kept white inside. 2 beautiful art and 4 very modern chairs. Very modern chairs and a coffee table with a round rug and a bookcase here. Beautiful linen drapes in blue with a gray shade. I introduced molding on the ceiling. As you see, there is molding on the ceiling all over with a beautiful center lighting on the modern touch. Let's talk a little bit about this room and why I did all that. Originally, Jennifer said to me, Lina, I have this room. I want it to be as a game room. She has 2 girls, young girls. In 2015, they were very young. Now they're grown up. That's 6 years ago. Anyway, she has 2 girls, and she said, I want this room to be a game room, like play cards, Monopoly, a lot of other games for her kids. So I said, okay, it's a small room, and it's very straight to the point. I introduced 4 chairs for the game room with a coffee table for them. There's no TV here because the TV was in the living room, as I told you. And I painted the bookcase, and because it's a traditional house and I wanted more on a contemporary side, I introduced these very modern chairs to bring the room from traditional to contemporary or transitional, if you want to say. So we still reserve the old architecture of the house by introducing these ceiling moldings, by keeping the chair molding on the walls, by I introduced this very modern touch for the chairs to have this transitional style, which is in between traditional and modern. So why I chose these chairs? Because they are clubby looking, they're game. For me, they look like game clubby chairs, and that's why I chose them. But why this particular color? Why this particular color? You know what? Because I have a blue walls, the ocean air blue paint. I'm gonna do this shot this way you can see the room from here. It's beautiful, really. It's very, really small, but it came out really stunning. As I told you, I have the ocean air blue paint, which was on the fireplace in the living room, which this then is open to the living room. That's why I introduced the colors. I floated the colors from there to here. But it's a pastel, ocean air is a very pastel blue, very serene, peaceful blue. So to have a contrast with it, and it's a very cold. Whenever we talk pastel colors, that means they are cold colors. There's a lot of white in the mix of them. White is a cold color. Again, white, we discussed it, not a color, but we call it color. White is a cold color, okay? So when white get introduced in the mix of any color, it will bring the color from deeper tint or hue to a lighter tint or pastel. We call it pastel. This is a lighter color of blue ocean air. So because it's a light blue and cold, again, because there's a lot of white in the mix of it, it's very cold color. I want to balance the room with so I introduce warm color, which is the orange for the chairs. Again, it's a game room. I want it to be fun. That's why I want it to be like young and fun and vivid. It's a game room, so, and it's the orange that accented and balanced by the blue of the walls, so it made the room also transitional and more balanced between cold and warm colors. And that's the room. Let me see if I have something else. I have to mention something about the draperies. So again, the rug. So because I have 4 chairs, let's talk a little bit about that. Because I have 4 chairs, as you see, I don't know if I'm shooting right. So this is the game room from far away. Okay, this is the game room from far away. Because I introduced 4 chairs, I repeated the round concept of them with a round table, round rug. So that brings focus and balance to and center to the room again. That's why I introduced all these shapes for the furnishing that I selected. That being said, I have blue everywhere. And it's a small room. I did not want to introduce another color into the drapery. I wanted the draperies, even that they are custom-made draperies, made to request. So I selected the fabric. I selected the fabric very close in shade to the blue color of the walls. I want the draperies to blend in with the walls. I don't want to see them. I want them to be blended with the walls, but at the same time will be framing the window and be used for if they need to. So that's why I selected this beautiful linen blue, which is also very close to the paint color. And again, I repeated the gray of the shade, honeycomb shade, with the honeycomb in the living room. This is the built-in again in ocean air color with the molding on top. Surrounded the room, as you see, surrounded the room, and beautiful art inside, like very vintage old place that Jennifer had. We put them inside from her grandma and grandpa and auntie. So again, it's a traditional house. We wanted to reserve the traditional feel of it by introducing a lot of moldings and make the rooms more transitional by introducing contemporary furnishing, and that's what I did in this room, like the living room as well. So this is the second room. There is also 2 rooms to shoot, so I'll keep you posted. Dina Khatib Interiors, interior designer. Take care.